Hey everyone! You know the data we create every single day is, well, it's a powerhouse. It's helping us do incredible things, like building smarter cities or even curing diseases. But at the same time, it holds all these intimate details about our lives. And that leaves us with a really critical question we all need to figure out.
How do we get all the good stuff from our data without giving up our privacy? I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges of our time, right? And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how the experts are trying to solve it. So let's start with this idea that data is a double-edged sword. On one side, you have this incredible promise for so much good. But on the other, if you don't handle it just right, it comes with some pretty serious risks. This quote really gets to the heart of it. The goal isn't to lock data away and stop using it. No way. It's all about using it responsibly. Innovation and privacy, they can't be enemies. They've got to be partners. And just look at the motivation here. When we analyze data the right way, we can make our public services run smoother, we can make travel safer, we can make smarter financial choices, and this one's huge, we can get better health outcomes for all of us. The potential is absolutely massive. All right, so to really get our heads around this challenge, we all need to be speaking the same language. Let's run through some of the essential terms in data privacy, just so we're all on the same page. First up, personal data. Now, this is a super broad category. We're talking about any little piece of information that could possibly be traced back to a specific person. You know, your name, your email, even the location data pinging from your phone, it's all personal data. And the person that data is about, that's called the data subject. So when we're talking about protecting privacy, what we're really talking about is protecting the data subject, which is you. It's me. It's us. And this brings us to what is maybe the most important concept of all, identifiability. You see, it's not a simple yes or no thing. It's a spectrum. It's a measure of how likely it is that someone could be picked out of a crowd. And understanding this idea that it's a spectrum is the key to everything else we're going to talk about. And this isn't just some academic idea. This whole spectrum way of thinking is baked right into the big regulations. So in the US, you've got HIPAA for health data, which says the risk of identifying someone has to be very small. Meanwhile, the EU's GDPR takes what's called a risk-based approach. It basically asks, hey, what's reasonably likely to happen considering the time, the money, and the tech someone might have? Okay, so let's dive into the core framework here. We can think about data as existing in one of three states, all along that spectrum of identifiability we just talked about. So first, on one end, you've got identified data. This is the raw stuff. Your identity is totally clear and connected right to the information. Just think of a spreadsheet with your name, your address, your email all lined up. No question who it is. The next step along the spectrum is pseudonymized. This is where direct things like your name get swapped out for a placeholder, like a random number or a token. Now, this is a really important step, but, and this is a huge but, it's still considered personal data because somewhere out there a key exists that could link that token right back to you. And finally, we get to the goal, anonymized data. At this point, enough identifiers, both direct and indirect, have been removed or changed so that it's just not reasonably possible to single out any one person. You're effectively and safely hidden in a statistical crowd. But, and you probably saw this coming, getting to that perfect, anonymized state isn't as easy as just clicking a button. It's actually a really delicate balancing act. You can think of it as the Goldilocks principle. This slide shows you the basic trade-off. If you do too little, if you don't anonymize enough, you leave people exposed. That's a huge privacy risk. But if you do too much, if you just scramble everything, you destroy all the valuable patterns you were looking for in the first place. The data becomes totally useless. So the whole point is that we're always trying to find that sweet spot. We need data that's changed just enough to protect people's privacy, but not so much that it's no longer useful. It has to be, well, just right. I absolutely love this analogy. Think about it. Is there a way to have zero risk when you cross the road? Well, yeah, you just never cross the road. But that's not practical, is it? So instead, we look both ways. We measure the risk, we manage it, and we make it as small and as acceptable as possible. That's exactly what good anonymization is. It's a risk management process. Okay, let's bring this all home. Let's look at the big picture and talk about why all of this really matters to you. So, if you remember anything from this, remember these key things. First, data is a double-edged sword. Incredibly powerful, but also risky. Second, anonymization isn't black and white. It's a spectrum with those three key states: identified, pseudonymized, and anonymized. Third, the Goldilocks principle is our guide to finding that perfect balance between useful data and real privacy. And finally, and this is so important, it's not a one-and-done thing. It's an ongoing process of managing risk. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Right now, as you're watching this, data about you is being used for something. And now that you get the principles behind anonymization, you have the power to ask the most important question of all: is it being used responsibly?